Noisy pixel.
You know, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of the World is a very long name that you may expect to see as the poorly translated title for an upcoming light novel. However, it is the name of the newest Majors developed adventure game to come west by the way of Spike Chunsoft. The title is a reference to a very bizarre piece of literature written in 1969 called The Beast That Shouted Love at the Heart of the World. You really don't need to read it, and it will not help you understand this drug trip of a visual novel. Yuno stars a high school slacker named Takuya Arima, who has received a package from his father, who has been long missing and since presumed dead. To his surprise, the eccentric historian has left him a set of items, a strange mirror and a weird piece of ore filled with slots that have been partially filled with orbs called jewels. Accompanying these items is a note that tells Takuya to bring to the vice with all of its slots filled out to the shrine at the mysterious Sword Mountain that very night. When Takuya arrives, however, he finds a naked woman on the ground who acts pleased to see him as if they've seen each other before, and then she vanishes. Then Takuya's principal shows up with a gun, threatening him to turn over the package along with its contents. Takuya's stepmother then also shows up, without any clue as to what's going on. But before anything else can happen, space distorts around him and he ends up alone at the base of the mountain, leaving Takuya to try and figure out what his father's motivations are and what on earth just happened. Gameplay here is heavily point and click. Takuya must navigate from different areas to talk to people and investigate locations to try and wrap his head around the game's mysteries. From the get-go, there are a lot of moving parts and places to visit, and you'll notice the plot beats are very dependent on your exploration. How you decide to explore will dramatically change the story as Takuya entwines himself with people of various goals and your attempts to solve the game's mysteries. To help Takuya in his quest is the Automatic Divergence Mapping System, or ADAMS, which is the bizarre object that encases those jewels. Takuya can use these jewels as literal save points within space and time. Once the ADAMS is open, just slap down a gem and you're good to go. Running low on jewels isn't the worst because the game just lets you jump back to an unneeded save and automatically claim it. However, it's really not good to run out, or you won't be able to open the system until you find one you've already set before. All of this is relevant because whilst Takuya's memories don't jump with him, his inventory does. You'll need to find items scattered across various character routes in other timelines to open up the past to their endings. These endings are easy to navigate thanks to the color-coded flowchart and objectives, so it's actually not too tricky to figure out what to try next if you do get stuck. The art direction of this remake is fantastic. Character designs are marvelous with many beautifully drawn CGs. The content of them, however, can be up for debate as the title doesn't exactly try to hide the fact the original game was an eroge. Thankfully, a lot of this dialogue is optional, and you are rarely forced to make questionable actions. If you enjoy this, or you can get used to it, you're in for some really fascinating story routes. I'm not the biggest fans of many of the cast members, even as good as they look, but I'm a big fan of solving conspiracies. Yuno is not a game that likes giving you your reveals in a linear fashion, leading to some very inconsistent pacing. It does ultimately have a very well done and very little jigsaw puzzle plot. It takes a while to start connecting those pieces, but it's relatively simple to get the edges together. The title becomes tricky when you realize the picture on the box did not at all match the one you're constructing. However, once you spend 40 or so hours getting the meat of it together, you're left with a story that has no right being as good as it is. The soundtrack is also something that stands out as brilliant, and you can choose from either the remake or the original arrangements.
いい天気だね。
それが
まずは世間話から入る。これはコミュニケーションの鉄則だ。
You Know, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of the Earth is an unmissable title for those who adore visual novels and would like to experience this piece of history. The game itself has been the inspiration for dozens of other stories since. The pacing here can be a bit messy, and some design choices can be rather explicit, to say the least. However, Yuno's presentation and sound design have compounded with a brilliant setup to make this a bizarre and satisfying adventure. All in all, it somehow makes for the kind of title I feel the need to highly recommend. Noisy Pixel is giving You Know an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Noisy Pixel is run by a dedicated group of people who work hard to bring you the best game related news, reviews, previews and more. Please subscribe if you haven't already and ring that little bell to stay up to date on all of our future content.